Hello, good evening. Welcome to Dave's Tackle Box, where everything's fine.
Is it?
Yes, everything's fine, and we're really not having any internet problems whatsoever.
No.
It's smooth. It's the 7th of December 2004, and they're not really moving that way. That's the internet problem, or one of them. Hopefully it'll improve during the course of the show. You're going to be doing a juice review, aren't you?
Well, we're going to have a look at something. Aye. But you never know what we're going to do you?
I'm tempted to do it soon before that connection fails altogether. We've got the we're going to announce the winner of the One Lite juice competition. So some lucky person, some lucky individual is going to win 10 bottles of juice, an ego kit, and a spare battery, which is pretty cool, isn't it? I've got a billet box. We're going to be looking at that. I also got some proper batteries for this box mod I was looking at last week. That camera there. So I'm going to crank that up a bit as well. And hopefully the connection will stay up so you'll all be able to see it. Right. I've just realised I should be recording this locally, really, shouldn't I?
It could be an idea.
Shall we start it from here?
That's a good idea, yeah. We'll start it from here.
Quality may be reduced, it said. Right, I'm recording it from here. No, I'm not. It's not working. We'll just see to the pants. YouTube will record something, won't it?
Yeah.
If not, we'll do it all again in the morning. We're going to do our best tonight, folks, but we'll get through it one way or another, because we always do. Let's have the opening titles. See you in a minute. And we're still here. That's good, isn't it? Yes. So I'm going to start with the billet box, and the reason for that is I've got a bit of video to play, and I'm thinking while that plays out, maybe the internet connection will stabilise a bit. Let's see. This is a billet box. This is a billet box. I can get it on the little closey-uppy camera. I'll show you the video first, shall I? No, let's get it on the closey-uppy camera. Right. This is a billet box. I have been tempted by one of these since I first saw one. And I've only ever seen one in the flesh once, to be fair. And that was at Vape Fest last year or the year before when it was in Tamworth. And Wayne, one of the organisers, had one. And he sort of, I think there's a VT out there of Vape Fest where he kind of shows it me and then runs away with it. And I was intrigued. But I've got to be honest, the reason I never really tried hard to get one was, one, partly because they're impossible to get hold of. But secondly, by design, it uses a sort of Bogue type cartomizer, and I don't really use those so much anymore. I much prefer either rebuildables or these Aspire BVC things. But somebody came up with an invention called a billet bridge, and in the VT, it explains what that what he's all about. So I'll show you the VT, and we'll see you at the end of it, and hopefully internet will be even better still. Well, here's the package, here everything that was in the package when it arrived, as you can see, as well as the billet box. He chucked in a couple of extra bits and bobs, which are greatly appreciated. Some cartomizers, which I probably won't be using. A bottle of juice. Now, the reason this is in pieces like this, I think, is because of this very juice. It's some kind of fruity flavour, and it smells very, very strong. So I gave everything a wipe down, as you do when you get a used mod. But even when I filled it up yesterday and was using the billet box, I could still sort of smell and taste this juice. So what I've done this morning is actually strip the whole thing down, and all of the sort of removable parts I've put through my ultrasonic cleaner. So it smells of washing up liquid now instead of this juice, and I've got to be honest, I prefer it. So I mean, each to their own and all that, but the Vapornaut Over the Rainbow is not one for me. So in addition to the billet box itself, he sent me the cartomizers, he sent me some BVC, Aspire BVC coils, and I've now got loads of these. We'll need one of those in a minute. It's the sort of optional Delrin tank. I think at standard the billet box comes with like a clear sort of Perspex tank, and this is made of Delrin, which is a little bit more resilient. Pros and cons with this, as far as I can tell. I think a lot of people seem to think that this tank is a bit sort of longer lasting. And it is quite an intricate thing. It has a little ball valve, which we'll see in a minute, for refilling and stuff like that. But of course it's a little bit more difficult to see how much juice is inside when you're filling it. You can still see, but it's not quite as clear as it was. But this is apparently the better option. I'll put that to one side. He threw in, there's one pair of batteries here, the other pair are on the charger, so he actually sent me 2 pairs of batteries. And I've used both already. These are due for a charge soon, but they'll do for this sort of little demonstration. If we move the billet box itself out of the way, there's also this thing, which, now this is an Atmostique billet bridge, and I said I didn't want to use the cartomizers that he'd sent. This is a little contraption which allows you to use an Aspire BDC or BVC coil. And if you've been watching my show lately, you'll know that I'm a bit of a fan of these BVC coils at the moment. That's just a part that I took out to put in the ultrasonic cleaner, and you'll see where that goes soon. And there's also this thing, a 2 puffs drip tip thing, which is kind of a nice thing. So it's a 510 drip tip fitting, which would push onto the mouthpiece of the billet bridge, and this little plastic insert that goes on top. And I guess if you're going for compact, that's actually quite neat and chunky and tough to put in your pocket. And I've actually got another drip tip that I've been using with it, but that's there because I chucked it through the ultrasonic cleaner as well. So we'll shove that to one side for a moment, and we'll shove this out of the way, and we'll look at the billet box itself. The craftsmanship on this thing, or the I should point this out, on the inside of the lid. Now I've seen some of these on YouTube, and this is kind of embossed and black inked somehow, so I'm not sure. This one's just engraved. I'm not sure if you can make it out, but you can see the BB logo with revision 3. It says hand and robot made in the USA in 2014. So I think that's showing up okay on the camera. Looks okay. So it's apparently made from a billet of solid aluminium, and I guess routed out somehow. And looking at the little pattern inside, you can see there, it looks like that's been routed, doesn't it? You can see the way it's up and down, and I have to say, because I started to say craftsmanship before, but I'm not sure if it was a craftsman or a robot that did it. But the way it fits together is absolutely incredible. A little ball catch there that fits in, slides along a groove on the lid and into that little socket just to hold it home. It really is so precisely made that once that's snapped in, you can barely see that the lid is a separate part. It actually feels like a solid construction. There's a bit of a knack to getting the back off, but there you go, I did it easily that time. I must be getting better at it. Inside, obviously, you've got your battery compartment. This is a voltage selector, and I like the way that's laid out. It goes from 4 volts up to 5.5 volts on the markings there. And I actually watched a video done by the people who make Billet Box, and they said everybody likes it at 475, so 4.75 volts, so that's where I've left it. But basically, to change the voltage, that's what you do. Little arrow on the top. I love the styling of it. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't look or resemble any other e-cigs. It's kind of almost old world. The principle's really sort of kind of simple, really. You put your batteries in there. There's a little contact here. That's your 510. That's the equivalent of a centre post, and it's more like a printed thing on there. It's a copper contact, I think. We're going to put the tank in there in a minute, and airflow holes on the side, button on the front. You set your voltage, you close it up. You don't need to do any more. Everything's contained within this box. So it is a wonderful piece of construction. But what I'm going to do now is try and fill up this tank. Now, I haven't done this very many times yet. But if I take the billet bridge to start with, this is it. You've got basically a shallow end, and that's where your drip tips are ultimately going to fit. And then you've got a solid end there. And that is where we're going to get our coil to meet up. You get this little collar thing, and what I'll do is I'll grab a DVC coil, fresh out the packet like that, and all you do is you get the threaded side of this collar and slip it onto the BVC coil fairly tightly. I watched an Mystique video who make the billet bridge, and they said make sure that's fairly tight. Now comes what for me was the tricky part. This is the bottom of the tank with this little sticky out bit, and the tank basically has a hole with an O-ring at each end. A tip that I got off the billet bridge, the Billet Box video, is to lube these O-rings very slightly with a bit of e-liquid. That'll prevent doing any nasties to it as we force this stuff in. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to put this coil through the hole in the bottom, and this with the sort of enclosed bit. There's an air hole in the middle, but the bit without the recess into the top of the tank, so they meet in the middle like that, and that's how your Aspire BDC or BVC will replicate the cartomizer that the tank was designed to take. So a bit of a knack to this, and this is only the second time I've done it, so hopefully I'll get it right first time. Because the first time I did it, I pushed this all the way in, and it was a bit of a faff getting it out again, but just kind of work that in, trying not to destroy the O-rings as I do it. Yeah, you see, it's a kind of a bit bit awkward. If you push it too hard to get it in there, then the darn thing's going to go shooting through, and then it's kind of rattling it around and grabbing it with a pair of pliers to get it out. There we go. That looks about perfect, actually. Sheer fluke. And then we want the, like I say, not the recessed end, but the flatter end of the tube here to go in the top, ever so gently through the O-rings, and basically the idea is we're going to get them to meet in the middle, which they're going to do. And once they're in, then you can press the two ends like that just to make sure they're well connected, because of course that is your electrical connection as well. And now you can see how it works. That touches the positive contact here, and you're away. It's done. Now I put some juice on there, as I say, to lube those O-rings a little bit, so I'm just going to wipe that off with a piece of tissue because a little bit leaked. Once you've got your contacts together like that, you want the top of the bridge just to stand slightly proud, just there. But that's basically the tank constructed, and you can fill the tank while it's either in the device or not. You only really need to take this out when you want to change the coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in situ. I drop the tank in to the billet box, take this brass thing here, and that just screws down, and I'll need a coin or similar, and I did have one, and can I find it now? No, I can't, but this thing will do. Just could sort of make sure it's kind of the guy in the billet bridge video was saying snug, just a snug fitting. You can see it's slotted at the top, so you can use a coin or something to tighten it up. You don't want to over tighten it, something's going to break in it. I'd say that's snug, and there we go. That's the thing actually constructed. All we need to do is fill it and stick batteries in it, and we should be good to go. So to fill it, you've got this ball valve here, and it's a little bit sort of finicky. If you try and fill it too quick, it'll all just back up and come out. But hopefully, as I do this, I'll put it at an angle. In fact, I'll do it sensibly and do it the other way around, with the hole that the juice is going in through at the top. Get gravity to help us a bit, and I'm just slowly filling up that tank now. I can't see if anything's happening, but I'm sure juice must be going in. It holds apparently about 6.5 mil. There we go. We can just start to see it filling up at the bottom now. And now it's coming out. So you could probably get a bit more in there, probably. I think I need a little bit more practice at it, basically. But that's how the old juice, I guess, got inside there and made the whole thing pong of that rainbow flavoured juice. So it's now got a pong of juice I like, which is better. That's in. Batteries, charged pair these are. In they go. Make sure they go the right way around. Very clearly marked, worth mentioning. Can you get it on camera? I'm not sure, but positive and negative, very clearly marked. Pay attention and you won't get that wrong. We snap the lid on, and this is one of those things, if you're one of these people who likes gadgets and engineering and everything, you will love this. Oh, that's grand. And I have picked a brass strip tip, which I think looks rather nice. That could do with a little bit more of a tighten, actually, I've just realised. There we go. Yeah, it looks a bit better, doesn't it? That should work. It does. So I'm just going to let the juice settle a bit because it's a brand new coil. Take a few drags on it without pressing the button. I'm going to leave it for a few minutes because I don't want to burn the new coil, and we should be good to go. So I'll go back to me in the studio and we'll see how it vibes. And welcome back. Yes, right, thank you for persevering through these troubled internet times. I can see from the comments in chat that there's some problems not just here, but all around. It seems to be a BT-wide problem, as far as I can tell. One question I picked up in chat there is, I never mentioned the battery size, did I? And these are they're actually these ICR 123 size things. They have another name, don't they? Are they 16? What are they called? You know the little ones?
The little ones?
They're like CR123 sized.
I can never remember.
It actually just says ICR123 on this. This is an AW, one of the black ones. So it's a little itty bitty ones, like the torch batteries, but 3.7 volts, obviously. So 2 of them, and they're they are 3.7 volt. Yes, it's a little itty bitty ones that are 3 volt on them. Yeah. So I mean, it is an expensive gadget, and I didn't even bother looking at the retail price because I know it's quite expensive. But a couple of people were saying that you can get them. I got this one from the classifieds on UK Vapors, and I paid 125 quid with all that stuff you saw at the start of the VT. So I'd have paid that. It's got a scratch on it, but which I knew about before I bought it, which won't bother me. There'll be several more on it within a couple of weeks, I'm sure of that. I can't put the damn thing down. It's just really, really nice. It's a keeper. This one's definitely a keeper. Have you seen these things?
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
I've just seen them on VTs and what have you, but the look of them is absolutely stunning.
Fiona, my partner, said it looks like a deck of cards.
It does like that, but when you open it up and you see the inside of it, it reminds you of a pocket watch, a Swiss pocket watch.
It does. It's so precisely put together. I'll just get it on the camera there again, because it's worth having a look. It's just the way they've styled the engraving and everything on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's this isn't junk, by the way. This is part of the show. This stuff that you can see on the desk. But normally I move that just before we go on air, but with the techie problems, I mean, I just everything about this makes you want to not put it down. Switch is just gorgeous. I went out shopping yesterday and just had this in my jeans pocket, and it doesn't fire when it shouldn't and stuff like that. You can. I saw there was some question about can you see the juice levels. You can see them quite clearly there now. It's due for a top up. I think there's a little bit of a knack to filling it with this ball valve. As I did it on the VT, I clearly put a little bit too much in, I think, so it backed up a bit. But it's like anything in it. It's like filling any kind of tank, really. You very quickly learn when to stop squeezing the bottle, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So, but yeah, well pleased with that. Yeah, okay, so I think we should... I've completely lost track of where we are.
I think we haven't any adverts yet. Of course we have.
That's what I was thinking we should probably do. Should we do some ads?
Good idea.
Let's do some ads. See you in a minute, guys.
Joytech UK are proud sponsors of VapeTrails.tv.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
Vapors, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
RY4 Radio.
And welcome back. So, we're still here.
Fingers crossed.
It's hanging on by a thread.
All sort of literally by a thread. We are VTTV tonight is brought to you by a damp piece of string, but it's working so far. I think we should do your juice review.
You do, do you?
I do.
All right then. All right.
Tell us about what you're reviewing, Chris.
What am I reviewing? What are we reviewing?
I have no clue.
No clue. Well, I actually got sent a couple of juices a few weeks ago. And I've picked them up. We've never been opened, so we've never tried them. And of course, as usual, I couldn't find anything to use to try them on. Well, there's a surprise, you know. But I had a hunt around. And does anybody recognise what that is on the top of that Solara?
I'm glad you said. I nearly cut in then and said, "Is that a fist pack?" But it's not, is it?
No,
that's a Solara,
that's a Beyond
That's
Vape.
what it looks like.
Reminiscent, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. On the top of that looks like a 510.
And that's exactly what it is.
Blimey. A gold one, a janty one.
I found some 510s that weren't even open.
Is it a gold
Still
one?
in the plastic pack.
Is it a gold one?
No,
one of the
just a
janty
silver
ones?
one.
Ah,
Just a normal one. It's just the lights in here.
I've got a gold one unused. Just thought I'd say.
A janty one. And I couldn't even remember what you do with them. Do you know that? I couldn't even remember. And then I thought, hang on,
You're never going to be able to.
I'll never open this. But I'll give it a go. No, you're right, I'm there. Child-proof is cat-proof. Have a go. What they are anyway, there's something called top drawer juices that Rock have brought out.
Rock as in
And-
R-O-K rock.
ROK Rock, yeah. And they very kindly sent us a menthol one and a tobacco one. And I thought, yeah, we'll get around to it. They do them, I think, 6 milligram to 24.
Right.
And this particular one's 18 milligram. 18 milligram, yeah. There's a load of writing on it, but I can't read it. It's so small for me, with my eyes gone a bit old. But it's compliant and it's batch quality tested, and you can check up the batch number and everything's on there. So that I thought that was quite good. And they've got I love these little tops. Do you like them?
I
I'm seeing
do.
in more and more juices now.
Not sure how much of that Billet Box VT you caught, but they're becoming more and more useful. Those little the ones with the
they?
little things on the top. Yeah. Much easier to fill up most tanks and stuff, isn't it? Much easier with those nozzles.
Aye.
It is much easier.
So I've hired a few drops in there.
Should you try the menthol one on the octopus? This stupidly long drip tip.
DJ Reptile UK says it's because cats don't have thumbs.
That's a very good point. noisy.
It still works,
I know
though.
it's amazing, but do you not remember how you actually meant to use 510?
No.
I had stuffing in the bit.
This one hasn't got stuffing in the bit.
I know you need some blue
Ah,
foam.
it's just the thing they shipped it with, innit?
Yeah,
Not a
It's
proper
got
gob
the
piece.
stuffing.
Yeah.
you need to stick a tea bag in it or something.
Blue foam.
Blue foam, yes.
Okay, it's working away there. Isn't that canny?
It's not that impressive, really, now.
No.
So what does it taste like then?
To be honest, I kind of taste a great deal. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not tasting a lot of tobacco.
Is that the juice or the 510?
It's likely to be the 510. Which is maybe why we moved on from 510s, do you reckon?
Well, I don't know whether you were watching the other week. I had Simon on, and I dug out a 510. Do you remember? And
That's
to
right,
try
you
it with
did.
something, and
Let's try it on something worth a light.
it was just absolutely ridiculously bad compared to the things we use now. The worst tanks are like 1,000 times better than dripping onto a 510
They
atomizer.
really are. I mean, I remember the 801s were always good for flavour.
Yes, and
They were
and
brilliant.
901s were better than 510s, weren't they?
Yeah, the just 901s just used to leak, like a really bad leak, you see.
I can remember doing an early VTTV show and commenting that the 901 looked as though it was designed to leak because of where the air hole was.
That doesn't fit on there.
It's just had to vape it really quickly. Yeah.
Have you got some menthol in there?
Oh.
Right, you try some menthol.
Well, you've
while
not just
I'm-
given you the battery.
Oh. How does that fit?
Just give this some more. Well prepared here.
Oh dear.
You think the internet's the biggest here worries tonight?
This doesn't work at all.
The menthol I've just dripped a couple of drops.
Yeah.
And it's not making connection. The menthol is a menthol tobacco.
Where did all that fuss come from then?
No, I meant that's not
Oh.
working. Go back in your box. They say it's a menthol tobacco,
domestic.
and I'm getting very mild menthol. But that might just be me, because I like sort of menthol that freezes your head. And this sort of gives you a pleasant... I'm kind of there, but I'm not really going to do anything. Not much of a threat. I like my menthol to threaten to do damage. This doesn't, but it's pleasant. I love lugging here in menthol and wondering if I'm going to survive to breathe again. It's the feeling that I really like with it. And it's nice. It's a nice, pleasant juice, but it's mild.
Yeah, what was it called again? What were
This
they
is
both called actually?
Top drawer menthol.
Top drawer menthol. And you did what, Chris? A top drawer tobacco.
Top drawer tobacco, which I've now tried in product number 3,
Okay.
which is a Delta.
So you are persevering.
Oh, don't give up, you know.
Just pulled me out my report. Hang on.
Oops.
This is not going well.
I don't know. I'm finding it kind of good.
Right, we got the drip to it. I'll add some more. Let's see. I'm guessing they're quite PG heavy, these.
They're PG heavy. Guaranteed DEG, which is diethylene glycol.
I mean, it says the good thing about
Free.
these is it's got a batch number and a best before date both printed on the bottle, which is good. And the one in triangles on the lid, which you won't be able to see, but it is because I've just said it is.
That's better. I'm getting the flavour through now. This is on the Delta. It's
I just think
a
it's
mild
Sav's
tobacco.
review then could have been a good one for radio.
Aye. That's a tobacco I could probably vape. because I don't do tobaccos, and it's not bad at all. But like you're saying with that one, it's quite delicate flavour.
Right.
So if you're into the delicate ones, it's not bad at all. It's funny how we've come on, isn't it? You know, I started with that. How did we ever manage with flavours?
We just did.
I think we used a 901 if you wanted to get flavour, didn't you? And then the 510 was more of the vapour producer, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And a 306 if you wanted to dip or really drip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a brand new atomizer. But saying that, I remember the brand new atomizers needed to be...
Well, they had
a running in period, if you like.
That's right.
Do you remember the stuff that they used to put on them?
Oh, yeah.
And your first vape of the new 510, and it tasted like vape and burning bodies.
It was really quite horrible. I still, to this day, don't really know what that was.
No, but sometimes I can still taste it. It's one of those memories that you get a flashback to, and it's like, oh.
Did we call it primer?
Primer, yeah, the primer.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were priming it for, but
I can still taste it now in my mind.
Yeah.
This stuff, I've just had a look there, it costs $4.49 for a 10ml bottle. And I understand all these companies are trying to be TPD ready.
Yeah.
And 10ml bottles, but frankly, a 10ml bottle drives me round the twist. I need a 30ml minimum.
Yeah, 10ml lasts sort of like a day and a half.
I don't like them. It's... You know when you fill your car with petrol, it seems to last longer.
Yeah.
And if you put a fiver or a tenner in, it doesn't hand very
You feel like
far.
you're going every day, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit like that.
I do.
Yeah, a 30ml bottle lasts longer than 3 10ml bottles. Weird.
I cart my juice around in these little squeezy 20ml bottles. Any less than that just seems too much faff, to be honest.
I mean, I discovered some juice that I really like from Liberty Flights recently.
Right.
And it's their temperance range, and it's a juice called lemon and ginger.
Right.
And again, it's a beautiful, delicate juice, which is lemon on the inhale and ginger on the exhale. And I immediately went and I ordered, I thought I've got to get some of them, and I ordered a pack with different flavours in the sample pack.
Yeah.
And I ordered 3 extra bottles of the lemon and ginger because it only comes in 10ml bottles. There's bottles all over the place. I'm sorry, I like my big bottle of 30ml minimum.
Yeah. I've got to be totally honest with you. I mean, I mix stuff a litre at a time, and then I pour it down into like little 100ml jars, and that's what I top my 20ml bottle up from. And you know, yeah, I agree with you. But as I think you hit the nail on the head, didn't you? This has got more to do with the TPD than what they'd prefer to be doing.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to actually find places that sell more than 10ml these days.
They're
Where's
just
Mr. Lorigal? You nicked it. You're not having 2.
If you can get that off without the bottom sticking on, then...
Have you seen what I put on? Look, they're all going to be laughing at me on that drip tip.
That reminds me of something.
It reminds you of the...
It looks like a walkie-talkie, frankly. or a 1980s mobile phone.
Yeah. Just around the bottom, not the top. That's sort of just...
Juice will fall out.
No, it won't, because it's a dripper thing.
Oh, it's a dripper thing.
But getting back to that juice, after vaping it for a while, it's a sweet, very sweet menthol. I'm not getting a lot of tobacco in it, but it's a very sweet... Taste. A lot of menthols fall into the mistake of mint with a hint of menthol. If I want mint, I'll buy mint.
Right.
And that one, it hasn't done it. It's not too minty, but it's slightly pepperminty.
It's pepperminty, yeah.
And I don't particularly like peppermint. I like menthol. So say it's menthol with a hint of mint, then I know what I'm buying.
Yeah.
It's
Fair
nice.
enough.
It's pleasant enough.
It's pleasant, but you have to like,
Mint.
yeah. Mint is not menthol, and I wish these people, all of them, would understand that.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing at all.
Menthol doesn't really
It's a
have
good.
much of a
It's
taste.
a good job I'm actually off camera at the moment because I'm basically nodding along like I appreciate the difference. But you know,
But it does. Menthol doesn't have much of a taste in itself. It's more of a sensation.
right?
And I suppose that's why a lot of people add mint to it to actually give it a flavour. Whereas I don't want that flavour. I just want that blow the back of your head out sensation.
I
And
can
her
remember.
menthol does.
I can remember your mother, Sav, teaching me how to make menthol from crystals when I had a really bad cold a couple of years ago. And I mixed 20 mil, and I bet you there's 18 mil left.
But it keeps the colds at bay.
It worked. It certainly cleared out the sinuses. But
Yeah.
then again, so does Diablo Loco.
That's true. That is true. In my menthol's the sort of polar opposite of Diablo Loco, whereas that blows your head off with the hot experience. My menthol does it with the cold. And I love it.
Right.
So I'm really hard. I should never really test menthol juices because I'm really, really hard to please.
What do you reckon to those then? Give us your summary.
If you like a tobacco that is mild, shall we say silk cut?
You can say silk cut if you want to say silk cut.
If you liked silk cut as a cigarette to smoke and then changed over to vaping, because one thing I'll say about Rock is they supply excellent starter kits. The Legend, the Rock Legend, and I know you've had one of those, and I have.
I've had a few
That's
bits
superb.
and bobs from Rock, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. For someone that, sort of, if you were buying a Christmas present for someone as a new vapor, those juices would be perfect for someone that's going from the cigarette experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For an established vapor, you probably won't get as much out of them, but I could quite happily vape it.
Yeah,
Definitely vape.
I remember it's Greg Forster, isn't it, who runs Rock? And
Yeah.
I met him at one of the early vape fests, and I bought some juice off him. It was like an absinthe flavour. And it was quite good because, you know, compared to a lot of the vendors that, you know, a lot of people watching this show would use, I guess, they're quite a sort of mainstream kind of company and always were, weren't they?
Yeah.
They do cigar-like stuff, albeit some of the better cigar-like stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But I can remember thinking that was quite adventurous for one of those mainstream companies at the time to be doing such a range of flavours like absinthe and stuff like that. And yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah.
And I agree that they're good quality juices, even if they're not maybe as strong as you might like once, once you've had a look around.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice and smooth and
So,
nice sensation.
yeah, I mean, I would certainly, a newbie, I would point them towards Rock.
Yeah.
Time and time again. The juices are not right for us, but I would still say to them, regarding the menthol, to remember that menthol cigarettes give the flavour of tobacco with the sensation of coolness over the top.
Very true.
Not mint,
Yeah.
coolness. And they can easily reproduce that by leaving the mint out.
Mhm.
So if I was a new switcher, if I just switched and bought the kit, the Legend, which is the one I really believe in, is excellent that they do, and I bought that menthol, I would be a little disappointed because it isn't. And when you look at the ads that a lot of companies do, and Rock are no different, when they do a menthol banner, 9 times out of 10 it's green.
Or has a mint leaf on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very true. That's very true. I've noticed that.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. If anything, it should be blue to
Because it's cold.
emphasize the coolness. Because you're not vaping mint, you're still seeking that tobacco taste, but with that coolness on the top. And I get the impression that a lot of the people who mix these juices have never been menthol smokers.
That's
a
possibly true.
bit of a problem.
That's very possibly true. Right. Can I say thank you for that? I think we probably ought to take our second break. And then we've got a competition to draw, haven't we?
Yeah.
Ooh. You excited?
Yeah.
Why? You weren't allowed to enter.
I know.
Right. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll announce the winner of the One Lite competition. Be right back.
LP Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV.
And welcome back. Right, so thanks again, ladies, for the juice review. We've got a competition that we started last week, and we asked people to email in if you would like to win a selection of 10 bottles of e-liquid from One Lite. If you want to go and look them up, they're at one-lite.co.uk. We had a good look at the juices last week, and I tried a couple on there. We looked at their website a bit, and we spoke about them. Their strapline is developed with doctors, and I still, because I wasn't around all week, I didn't go back and find out exactly what that means, but it sounds good. And they have very, very, very kindly put up 10 bottles of juice, as I say, an Ego starter kit, and a spare battery for the Ego. So pretty much everything you need to get going. So we just we've had plenty of entries. And, right, my original intention was to do all of this that I'm about to do live on screen so you could all see it. Then my plan went a little bit astray, didn't it? Because some people, I've only got their email address and not their name. And I'm not allowed to show all that on the screen, am I?
Nope.
It's naughty. And I wouldn't really want I wouldn't want my email address on the screen. Mind you, I put my email address on the screen sometimes, but you get the point. Okay, so rather than publicise the email address of everybody that entered, I'm going to do it, and Sav and Chris, you're going to be my witness, aren't you?
Yep.
So what I have done, for those that are interested, is I've taken a list of all the entries we got and cut and pasted them into a spreadsheet. Checked that the totals were there, so everybody that entered is in the spreadsheet, and then I've taken that list and I've cut and pasted it into the list, the random list generator at random.org, which is quite a wicked tool actually. I wish I could show it actually, because it's, but I can't. But I can't. So they're all in there, and now I just have to click a button, and it will randomise the list, and whoever appears in position number 1 is going to be our winner. Have I explained that clearly and simply?
You have.
Okay, good. So I'm going to hit a button, and whoever's at the top of the list wins. That was the abridged version of the rules. Okay, so good luck to everybody that entered. VTTV presenters, production staff, people we've met, people we don't like. We're forbidden. No, it's not the last bit. This is there's no VTTV names or anybody associated with VTTV or any of the shows. So fingers crossed. Here we go. I've clicked the button, and the name that is at the top of the list is Margaret Braithwaite. So Margaret, I've actually closed my inbox now, so I can't see whether that came during the show or just after the show last week, or whether she's somebody that watches on catch up. But Margaret, I've got your email address, obviously. I'll reply to you and get your name and address details, probably tomorrow morning. And I'll pass that on to onelite.co.uk, and I'll send you your prize. How good's that? I shall put you all in touch. So thank you for entering, and to everybody else that entered. And you lucky people. Are they lucky?
Yeah, so lucky.
So, because these were pretty good. And you know what I'm like for juice, and I'm gonna put my cards on the table. When I was contacted and asked if I would like to try some of these, I said I'm the worst person in the world. How about a competition instead? Because I'm really rubbish at doing juice reviews. But I have to say, the two I tried on air last week, which were the strawberries and cream and the cappuccino one, were very good. But there's 4 unopened ones.
Yay.
What should I do with them? What shall I do with those?
What flavours is there?
Ice cool menthol.
Well, now
in blue. In blue.
It's blue. It's a start.
Just to prove I'm not lying.
Excellent.
I'll hold it up to your camera first. Da-da-da. Can you see that?
It's blue.
It's still got a
Still,
mint
there's
leaf.
a mint leaf on there.
It's got, yeah, okay, ignore that. And then there was, I've got a golden tobacco and a classic tobacco. So I think we should pass these around the team and get them to review them, because these people were very nice
I think that's
to
a
send
good
us
idea.
stuff for our viewers. I think that's very good of them. So, right. Yes, how long have we got left? Have you any clue at all?
About 6 minutes.
About 6 minutes. Right, so we pick. Shall I do the iStick bendy thing, or shall I install one of my new 35 milliamp hour batteries into this box mod that I had last week? This X Pro BT 50 watt thing, and try lung hitting the Atlantis at 50 watts.
Oh, now that sounds appealing also.
These are your choices. I shall let you pair decide. iStick bendy thing, or Dave coughs his ring up on air.
See, I want to see the bendy thing because I actually want to buy one.
But
I
you also want to see me suffer. I get that. I get that.
also want to see you suffer.
And chat, I know, would agree with that as well.
Yeah,
They
that's
want
why.
to see
That's
us
why I'm not
also.
asking them.
Oh, that's a really tough choice. Bendy thing or pain?
We'll be out of time soon.
Bendy thing.
Gotta be the bendy thing.
See,
But you have to suffer next week.
Next week you can
Yep.
see me choke with the Atlantis tank at 50 watts with my new eFest 35 amp battery, but not this week. Bad luck. This gives us something to tune in for, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you this thing, and I'm going to put this up in this camera. This is an iStick bendy thing. I've had it on charge because it was running a bit low, so we'll get rid of that. I don't need the Allen key to install the battery. Those can all go. This is an iStick bendy thing. And I think this is a really natty piece of kit because, let's face it, you've got iSticks, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'll hold it up briefly to your camera. So there's the iStick
Oh, yeah.
with the tank on the top, and I press a little catch, and it folds.
I love that.
How clever is that?
Isn't it good? Look at that. And I'll show the viewers. See, it clicks. It's got a little catch thing, and you do that, and you fold. Now, okay, with this tank on, it's perhaps not immediately apparent what that is supposed to do for you. So what I'm going to do is somewhere I have a tank and an ego adapter. There's the tank. Which is more sort of your sort of glassomizer, cartomizer size. You know the sort of thing I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
And I cannot find the adapter that I had. It's because I picked up the wrong tank. There we go. I think this is a mini David or something. It could be. I'm not really sure. It's got writing on it. It says, yeah, this is a mini David tank. So it's about the size of a sort of glassomizer thing. Yeah, to give you an idea. And the idea is that when you've got this sitting on top of your iStick, you can fold it and let it go in your pocket. Because I'll hold it up for you girls again.
That's such a clever.
It's actually quite neat, isn't it? It's actually quite neat. I should say this is one. That's what you get. You get the thing itself, and there's this little key thing to tighten it up. And I'll show you very quickly how it fits together. But that's the basic idea. One thing that I will say is if you're using like something like this silo tank that I had on before, and you fold it, it presses the fire button.
Right.
It doesn't with this. So that's why I was saying the silo tank, it's a bit stupid really. But with something like that, and the idea is you can pocket that. And, it's less likely to get snapped because it ain't so big. And it's very neat. It's very neat. But there's another thing that I like about this as well. A lot of people have commented about the centre pin on the iSticks. They ain't the best, are they?
No.
They ain't spring-loaded, which we've kind of been spoiled and come to expect these days, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I know with both of the ones I've got, I've had to get a screwdriver in there and lift it up a bit sometimes. Like one of my ego adapters is fine, but the other one's a bit deeper. Not so much with the silo tank, because I never mentioned this when I looked at it a few weeks ago, but that's actually got its own sprung centre pin, which is kind of neat. I've not seen that before. But actually the centre post on the tank is sprung, which is a natty idea.
Yeah.
But that sort of 510 connector in there can get depressed very easily. So can I with these internet problems, but that's a bad joke, isn't it? And so you have to get a screwdriver in there and lift it up a little bit, and that's not good really. But this bendy thing, which has just fallen apart in my hands, there we go. It actually has a sprung centre post, which goes all the way through to the other side. So to fit it, it's really easy basically. You've got the this little springy pin. You can even see the spring at the bottom that goes in there, and use the little key just to screw it into the 510 thread. And sorry you can't see this too well, Cat and Sav, but it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll watch that.
I'll give you your own private viewing later. How's that? And you tighten it up like that, and that's it. It's done. And you screw then your tank into the top bit, and then you can see that you've got a springy centre pin there, and it's going to protect the centre post in the iStick, because theoretically you just leave that on now and it's not going to get sort of pushed down or anything, and it clips really solidly. I mean, you know, there's no rattle or anything like that. It's pretty well made. And there's a little catch for when you want to release it. You just sort of press that there, and away it goes. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Looks like a little mini toilet seat, doesn't it?
That's exactly what somebody said on one of the forums, and I thought, you've nailed it. You've nailed that. It does indeed look like a bendy bog seat.
It's a very clever idea, though.
It is, and just the way they've done it, it's like the connection is a really good contact and everything.
Yeah,
there's no really rattle, no wobble. It's great.
And it's ideal for people that keep the iStick in their pocket.
Exactly. So I think they're a good thing. I got mine from iVapor, but I bet it's in the only place that'll have them before long. And I think it was £6.95. I actually got a couple because I got two iSticks. Did I mention I got two iSticks?
Have you? I've got two iSticks as well.
Maybe once or twice. Yeah, so because I've been using this ever such a lot. The only thing is, because I've been using it with this silo tank, it actually, you know, it adds a bit of... I'll put the little camera back on, the close-up camera. It does add some height to it when you're using it. So it's a bit of a trade-off. As I say, with the silo tank, and therefore any other tank that's wide, you'll see that it actually will depress the button.
I've got a quick question.
So you need to turn it off.
Would it work on anything other than the iStick?
I had that thought the other day and never got round to trying it. So theoretically it would. Anything with a 510 thread. I mean, it's not going to fit quite as neatly because it's obviously designed for the iStick, and the way it's hinged, it's designed to go just over the edge of the iStick. But there's no reason why not, looking at it. In fact, it doesn't go over the edge that much at all. So it might. Should we try it? We could try it on something, couldn't we?
Yeah, have a quick try.
We could do that,
Could
couldn't
do. I think we're running over already. But...
I have no idea. I really have no clue.
Yeah, what sort of...
Why worry?
Yeah, why worry?
Right, I could try it with the Billet Box. Could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah, give it a go.
I mean, it should work, shouldn't it? Because it's got a 510 thread on the top.
In theory it should. My brain's telling me it should work, but there's bound to be a fundamental flaw somewhere.
Yeah, there is. The thread doesn't go deep enough.
Right.
Oh no, there isn't a 510 thread on the Billet Box. I've just tried screwing it into where you put your drip tip.
That'll be why that didn't work then.
It's not funny. It'd work on an Ego. What else have we got? Let's try it on a Provari. That'd work. Get it on close up. This'll work. I feel fairly confident. It'll look really stupid, but it'll work. Ah, no, see, you're right. There is indeed, as I've predicted, a fundamental problem. So the thread's got to be the right depth, otherwise it rattles.
Ah.
So it's on, it would work, but it would be annoying. Completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So I do believe we're at the end.
I think so.
Some time ago, some people might say. But I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying a sense of achievement having got this far, given where we were at 5 to 9.
Exactly.
This is true.
So I think we should wrap it up. Oh, haven't we got to mention something about RY4 radio that started some time ago?
Now. Oh, now.
Because Mr. Desi Vapor is on Andy's show, isn't he?
He is, yes.
So if you want to go to ry4radio.com, I'll get that right. Mr. Desi Vapor is joining Andy now, 15 minutes ago, in fact.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go. Ladies, thank you ever so much for joining me.
Pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Dave. Absolute pleasure.
Thanks everybody else for sticking with us while we've had our technical troubles tonight. I'll see you next week. Until then, thanks for watching.